Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's a very exciting video and I have been meaning to do this for a while. I just haven't had the chance to get around to it, and I also, on my end, really want to make sure I could test drive all of them first before I gave you my full opinions and like thoughts on them. But I will be reviewing my Oran sandals against my Oasis sandals against my, if I can pick it up, my Chypre sandals. The three most sought after sandals from Hermes. Alright, so let's just jump right into it. I had already actually previously filmed this video, and then when I went to go sit down to edit it, I realized that I had lost half of the audio literally 5 minutes into the video, and it was a 20-minute long video. So it was not great. I have to refilm this, and which is what I'm doing right now. I still feel very excited about this topic, so I feel like it's gonna be just as good. Sometimes when I lose audio or footage on videos that I previously filmed, I get like really angry and annoyed because I'm like, oh, I had to redo it all over again, and I'm just like not in a good mood. But for this one, for some reason, I am. Before I digress, let's jump right into it. Starting off with the most popular and the most popular, I don't know how to say that properly. These are the infamous Oran sandals from Hermes, and these have a good slash bad rep. You either like them or you hate them. I'm gonna hold only one of them up because it's tricky to hold both. So these have a good rep because they are very sleek, minimal, stylish, instantly ups the ante of any outfit and pulls it all together. However, if you can tell here, they are very narrow, so they're not exactly the best suited for people who have wider feet. I've heard rumors before that you could potentially get them in different widths. I have never requested for them because I personally have very narrow feet, so I have no problem with them at all. A lot of times I hear that people complain that if they have a wider foot, this hurts and it gives them a lot of blisters around the sides here. I first bought these back in I think like 2018, 2019. I got the white pair. I'm not going to show you the white pair because I brought up different colors specifically so I could show you the different shades here. I stupidly at the time got really excited. I've always wanted my own pair of Hermes Oran sandals. We were in Portugal. I picked up a 5.5. I'm a true size 6 and they kind of fit me, but albeit they were tight, and also because they're cheaper in Europe than here, and I just didn't have any Hermes history shopping here yet in Toronto. It's like, why not? Let's just take the plunge and do it. So I did it. Lo and behold, they were too tight for me, and like I make them work. They're comfortable, but I cannot wear them as long as my gold ones, which is Hermes's term for brown. These are in a true size 6, like a 36, and these fit me so much more comfortably. The white ones, way too small. So that's another thing to mention. They go up in half sizes. So if you're in between sizes, you can definitely go down or up a little bit. I would highly, highly recommend getting these in your correct size. Do not go the route of choosing a smaller size just to secure the sandals because your feet will hate you for it. If you have a narrow feet, you will fit into them fine as long as you pick the right size. Couple other things I want to mention. They come in a variety of different materials. Mine is the soft calf leather. I believe they also come in Epson. Sometimes they have denim, canvas. They also have like a shearling one. Depending on the material, some of them give a little bit more stretch over time as you wear them. The Calfskin one is very smooth, and this one does warp to your feet a little bit, so you will get creases on here. It's almost impossible to avoid as you wear them, and you do want them to crease a little bit because over time that will make the shoe so much more comfortable for you to wear. The Epson ones though, I would be wary of because I have not personally tried them, but I have heard that people who wear Epson shoes, because that leather is so much more firmer and sniffer, it does not have a lot of give to it, and it ends up cutting your feet quite a bit. So I've heard of people getting cuts from this part up here, digging into the top of their foot, up here digging to their toe, and just the sides giving them heavy blisters because there's not a lot of give in the leather and it doesn't move a lot against your feet. So it's constantly rubbing up against it and you're gonna end up getting a lot of friction blisters. So I would stick away from Epsom if you can. I know obviously sometimes some of the colors come in Epsom, and the seasonal colors especially, that are really hard to get your hands on, and you don't want to lose your chance of getting that color. If you want to suffer, I mean, do it. But for myself, I've worn enough shoes that have given me hell over the years that I'm just like, at this point, it's not worth it. Do not get the Epsom ones. I can't stand by denim or shearling because I haven't tried any of those, but I can tell you right now, the soft calfskin one, it's perfect for my feet. It is a flat sandal overall, but there's like a slight stacked heel to it. It's like a couple levels of leather stacked together. And because it is super, super flat, you can tell there's like zero arch support here. If you have a horrible, horrible arch that's huge like me, you're not gonna have it filled in here. I don't actually have the biggest issue with that, to be honest. I don't actually get any arch pain or plantar fasciitis from wearing these without the proper arch support. But if you're somebody that does have issues, I don't know, if you can try installing some sort of like insole that has like a larger arch that will just fit your feet a little bit better, try that. That may help. But if you have problems with flat shoes, this is not going to be the one for you. There is a bit of cushioning in the sole. I've never had any issues with my feet hurting from being too flat in these for too long, and I've definitely worn these like day to night going to events because they are flat and comfortable and they look very chic and sophisticated. In terms of like the sole here, there is some support, not a crazy amount, but it's not like a flat hard bed. There is some cushioning in this. The other thing I want to mention is at the top top actually tapers into a slight flat top here. It's not almond, and I'll show you the direct difference. The Oasis sandals, which has a block heel, has a rounder toe at the top. This one has a more flat one. So this gives you a slightly more of like a 90s look. Actually looks a little bit more, it's weird. I say 90s, but that's like a modern look right now to have like a flat shoe up here. So if you want a more casual modern look, this is definitely one to go for. It's just flat. That's it. In recent years, and I noticed this because my previous white ones that I bought in like 2018 or 2019, the sole had actually two pieces. It came with like a brown one that ended right where the toe box is, and then it had the leather in the top framing the top part of where your toes would actually go. So I'd have brown all the way up till here, and then the top part was white. In recent years, they actually changed it so that the entire footbed is one color, whatever the color of the shoe is. So these brown ones are all just like one piece of leather all the way through. Personally, I think it looks a lot nicer and smoother and cohesive, because then when you're walking around, you're not seeing like colors coming off the sides. And the nice thing about Oran sandals is they come in a multitude of colors, but they're really well known for being very monotone and like monochromatic, one color all the way through, unless you're getting like some fancy design with like, I don't know, Swarovski crystals and like tufted canvas. There are some outrageous ones out there, but the general ones that everybody likes and collecting are the single solid color ones. And now with the single piece of leather going top to bottom, it just looks a lot more cohesive. So personally, I prefer that a little bit more. This color, like I mentioned, is the gold. I also have the white one. And when it comes to Hermes, each specific color has their own corresponding stitching. The gold always has a contrast stitching. It's not like a crazy huge contrast. I actually find it to be a fairly soft, muted, beigey color, so it's not that big of an issue for me. However, the other shades, such as black, has a very high contrast stitching in the white. I'm not the biggest fan of it. To be very honest, I think in between the white and the gold, I'm pretty solid on the Orans right now. If I want to, I would collect some other fun colors. I saw this beautiful yellow, like a marigold mustardy color when I was in Paris earlier this year. I wanted to get my hands on it. They completely sold out in my size, so that did not happen. But when it comes to the black, which is most other people's top 3 contenders, I tried it on, and for some reason, with the contrast stitching, I just didn't love it. So I don't know if I ever will end up purchasing a black pair. I might down the road if I'm like really bored and I want to kind of round up my top 3 neutrals. But to be honest, the black doesn't really draw me in, and I just don't like how it looks that much. So I'm not really gravitating towards that. The bottom of all of my Hermes shoes, at least for the Oasis and the Orans, because those are the only ones I have so far besides the Chypres, are leather. And I always get them soled just because the leather is very smooth and flat. And if you're walking on a smooth surface like stone, like a marble inside of a building, you will slip and slide with these, and that is not fun. I've definitely caught myself slipping before. And when you grab that railing and your arm jerks back, that is the least of the worries that you have, because the worst part is you could actually fall back and hit your butt or your head, and that would hurt so much more. In order to avoid all of that, I always get my shoes soled. Actually, a lot of my designer shoes I get soled, specifically if they have a leather bottom on them. If you are located in the GTA Toronto area and you're looking for a cobbler, I would highly recommend Caners in Yorkville. They do a phenomenal job, and they have that stellar reputation that you've always heard about, because they do a really great job and they're extremely trusted. People take their bags and shoes to them and they come back looking phenomenal. Oh man, I really wish I took a before and after photo of my Gucci Princeton loafers, because they looked horrendous when I brought it to them. I think I got them in like 2016. Scratched up everywhere. Brought it in, they essentially made them look like they were brand new, minus the creases that I had worked into the leather. So I would trust them with anything that I own, essentially, if it's leather work. Anyway, so I get soles put on the base, and I usually try to get them to match the color of the base of the shoe, and that just adds not only grip to the shoe, but it helps to keep the integrity of the shoe for longer. I believe they promise me, or they guarantee on their end allegedly, anywhere up to like 5 years of wearing this before you need to replace the sole, and I think that's pretty good for myself. I have been on the back end of wearing shoes that have leather soles and worked through them. I'm somebody who also drags my feet, so you can see it's kind of like leveled off here because I've worn these actually a lot. And if you don't get these protectors put on, over time it will wear into the leather until it gets so thin that you're just wrecking the shoe. So by adding these leather sole protectors on, you're actually preserving the shoe for a longer period of time. You can wear it without having to repurchase it over and over again. Spend less money, and it's just safer because you're not slipping when you're walking around wearing these. So for myself, I find the Oran sandals very comfortable. Now, Hermes, everything went up a little bit in price. I think it was like 15%-ish, somewhere in that ballpark range this past year. These used to be, I believe you used to be able to buy them for $810. When I first bought them in Europe, they're around like 500 euros-ish. I don't know how much that's gone up now since then, because I haven't purchased a pair of these in Europe since like 2016 or whatever. In store now in Canada, I believe these are $930 $30. That's how much they've gone up to. So they've gone up $100, but according to Hermes, they have not raised their prices since like 2015 or something like that. So it's been due time. Chanel, on the other hand, raises their prices like 3 times a year. So I think that's fairly priced for these shoes. And if you protect them like I do, they're going to last you a really long time. It's a beautiful classic silhouette that you can wear out and about. If you want to dress up a nice summer casual outfit without having to wear a heel, you want something a little bit flatter, these are a great option. And I would be more than happy to add more of these to my collection in like fun colors to spruce up my outfits, because I know without a doubt these do not come off looking too casual. They're very put together, but at the same time, they're also extremely comfortable. Moving on to my Oasis sandals. So the reason I actually bought these was because I was wearing through my white Orans. I found that I wore them with literally everything in the summer, and I've noticed over the years, I am somebody who wears a lot of white to the point where I refuse to buy sneakers in any other color besides white, because I have and I just never wear them anymore and they just go to waste. So all of my sneakers are now white. I have fun with my sandals and my dress shoes. So because I wore my white Orans so much, I started to realize I wish I had a comfortable pair of white heels to wear in the summertime with an outfit that I want to dress up. So whether I want to wear something to like a baby shower, a bridal shower, a wedding, an engagement party, a formal sit down dinner, anything like cute, or if I'm going to an event. But the caveat is it has to be comfortable, because I have so many white heels. The Bottega ones, you guys know how I feel about those. They are stunning, very sleek. They also look very fashion. They're not the most comfortable, and I cannot trust myself to wear them from morning till night. They are exclusively like a sit down shoe, or I have a window to maybe wear them for 3 hours at most before my feet feel like I am walking on burning coals and I have to take them off. So I realized, because I liked the Oran so much, and I have actually heard before that the Oasis are even more comfortable than the Orans, I figured let's go ahead and buy them. So I actually picked up this pair specifically when I was in Paris recently, and I have worn them so freaking much. It's actually wild that I waited this long. I kind of wish I bought them sooner. So right at the bat, you'll notice that I mentioned that the shoe box at the top here is a little bit more almond shaped. It does not have that flat top that the Oran sandals have, and this makes it look a little bit more feminine, classic, traditional, which is actually pretty good because you can wear this for a lot of different events, whether it's something more traditional like you're attending a wedding, or you're going to like a baby shower, or you just want to wear this to a nice fun event or a date night. It's a very classic, proper looking heel. And when I say proper heel, there is a slight heel to this. It's much more stacked than the Orans. You can tell side by side that it's significantly higher. I would say that this is maybe like 2 inches at most. It's extremely comfortable. I have worn these day to night and not have any issues with them. Similar to the Oran sandals, the Oasis has a very slim foot width. Again, I don't know if you can order these in a wider width of the shoe up here. Maybe you can try asking your SA and see if they're able to magic one out for you. But if you have narrow feet, fear not, it's not gonna hurt. These are actually wildly more comfortable than my Orans. So if you want comfort between the two, I would say opt for this one. And because the heel is not crazy high, you can probably wear them out all day long. I mean, I do, so it's not that crazy, and I don't like high heels. So this is actually a good representation of what the Orans used to look like. So you see how it has brown here and then it gets white at the top. I just bought these this year, so I can tell you right now they're still selling this design, whereas the Orans are now all one piece. This is what the Orans used to look like. Imagine this flat. That's what my white ones look like. It's weird. I am curious to see if they're ever going to get to the point where the Oasis is also going to become a one piece as well. That would be, personally in my mind, a little bit nicer to look at, because then it just looks more seamless and monotone. But in the meantime, they are still 2 pieces and 2 different colors of leather. Similar in design, there's also cushioning in the heel here. The overall shoe has quite a bit of cushioning, so there's some give to it. You're not walking around like slapping your feet all day long. The other plus, because they have a heel, is that there is a little bit more of an arch, which I don't know if that's why it's more comfortable than the Orans, especially if you have a huge arch like I do. But I find that this kind of like fits into the arch of my foot significantly more comfortably than the Oran ones do. So again, if you're hawing between the two, this one might be the better one for you, since it has an arch and it can accommodate a more comfortable like fit to the foot. And because the arch is not super high, it's not gonna like break your ankles as you're walking around. It also helps that it's a huge block too. So if you're walking on grass, you're not gonna teeter-totter back and forth. I actually broke them out for the very first time for Mel's bridal shower. We were in her backyard. I wore them quite a bit and they were very comfortable all day long. And I would trust these for a wedding. If you're going to attend a wedding that has a ceremony on grass, I think these would perform really, really great. Bottom, again, I got them soled just because I wanted to protect them, and because it is a smooth leather, I do not want to slip and accidentally I'm gonna lie myself. But overall, these are a great shoe. They are a little bit more expensive than the Orans. I believe these are currently going for $1,025. If you buy them in Europe, obviously a little bit cheaper. I believe they're like maybe 700 euros, don't quote me on that. I'm like literally pulling numbers off the top of my head right now because I cannot remember how much I paid for them, but they're significantly cheaper if you get them in euro, and you get the VAT back too, which is great on your end. I believe these used to go for $950 or oh no, I think they went for $980 in Canada before they increased the prices on these. So it didn't go up too much, but the price increase has gone up quite a bit, and with the 13% tax here in Ontario, it's putting you over. So if you can get a hold of these in Europe, do it. Otherwise, if you are comfortable with spending and putting down a little bit of money for a pair of investment shoes that are gonna last you a really long time, is a classic and clean silhouette, especially in the white. It can permeate a lot of different outfits. I would say this is a great investment to go towards. So I currently only have this design, the Oasis, in the whites, but I think I actually, weirdly enough, want to get it in the black. I already have a pair of brown sandals that I just got from Mango recently. Kitten heel again, very strappy on the top. It looks super similar to this. It does have like a more flat kind of like toe box at the top, but I feel like it would be very redundant for me to get this again in a brown if I already have a pair of brown sandals from Mango. It just doesn't make sense in my head. And surprisingly, I actually like how the Oasis looks in black compared to the Orans. Even though I was not fond of the contrast, I think just like a heel with that makes it look a little bit more classier, whereas the flat black for the Orans, it just, I don't know, the silhouette and the way the contrast looks, it just wasn't working in my head, and I didn't like how it looked in my foot. But when I tried on the Oasis in black, so I was like, those are the ones. So I think to round out my collection of the Oasis, I would pick up the black ones. I haven't eyed anything else in any other colors I would particularly like, to be very honest. When it comes to my heels, they end up being fairly neutral most of the time. I would potentially consider like a fun bright color just to spruce up any summertime fits if I want to wear it to like a fancy event or occasion, but to be comfortable. I find it really hard for me to invest in like expensive designer shoes in like splashes of color if they're not going to be comfortable, because it's like, number one, it's a bright color. When am I going to ever wear it? And then number two, it's not comfortable. So again, when am I going to wear it? But because I know these are reliably already comfortable, I can slide pushing in like a couple of bright fun colors here and there just to like spruce up my outfits and to sprinkle some more color and vibrancy into my wardrobe. Okay, so now we're done with those two. This is like a very popular one I forgot to mention. It's obviously not as popular though as the current trending one, which are the Chypre sandals. Arguably, people say that these are just as hard to get as a Birkin. I would say otherwise, because a Birkin is a quota bag, and your SA is not just going to offer it to you all willy-nilly unless you have really good luck or you're in Paris and you get some sort of leather appointment. These are not that hard to get. You can purchase them off the site. I think maybe the issue is securing a more neutral color, because they always have strange, interesting colors available online, especially the shearling ones in the bright orange and the bright green. Those are obviously, as you can tell, I'm a neutral gal. Not my personal preference. I ended up getting the black ones first, and I'm very happy that I did, because a lot of the times the only other colors that they have available in store besides those shearlings are block color ones. There's also a white one that's white leather straps with the black base, and I tried it on. My SA offered it to me. I didn't love it. I just didn't like how it looked very color blocky. I think I prefer a completely monotone look, the way I really like that the Orans are all just like one shade. Now, moving more over to the shoe, these are a little bit pricier than the Orans, but they're roughly within the same ballpark range as the Oasis. I don't exactly remember off the top of my head how much these cost. I believe they're in the high 900s. It kind of sucks because I actually, well, my story and how I secured these was that my SA told me that they were getting a huge shipment of them in, and they had my size available, and if I wanted to secure one by putting down a deposit. I said yes. I went ahead and did that, and I don't know if I was just lucky and I was able to do that because he offered me black in my size and I didn't want any other color, that I was able to get one. I don't actually know how hard it is to get one in store because I haven't had a lot of issues securing it yet. I did that, and then the issue is that between when I put down my deposit and when the shoe arrived, they actually started raising prices in Hermes. What happens is that when it arrives is when your final purchase date is, you have to pay the difference if the price has gone up, which is kind of stupid in my head because it's like I already secured it and paid you. So I'm a paying customer. Technically, I own the product. I'm just waiting for it to arrive in. I don't personally think you should be paying a difference if you're paying in advance already. I might as well just come to the store and bought it that time. But again, that doesn't secure me the shoe and doesn't guarantee that I'm going to get it when it arrives. So I just sucked it up and I was like, okay, I'm going to pay a little bit more just to make sure I have the shoe, and I got it in my hands. Do I think the shoe is worth it? 1000% yes. These I actually find extremely more comfortable than my Orans. And right off the bat, you can notice how much wider the footbed is. It's really, really wide, extremely comfortable for anybody who does not have narrow feet. Albeit being wide, I don't find that I slip inside of it though. It's very comfortable on my feet and just feels like I'm wearing an elevated pair of Birkenstocks. I also like them because Birkenstocks have that like suede footbed that looks, I don't know, in my head, gross over time when your sweat gets into it and your oils and it just changes the color. Whereas this is just like a leather footbed and it doesn't change color at all. Before we jump into the comfort of this, I'm going to talk really quickly about the construction. Right off the bat, the bottom of these shoes are rubbers, so you do not need to sole them. You're going to get a lot of grip when you're walking around. And there's these, I should have cleaned this out, but I don't want to go into that. There's these little H motifs cut into the base of the rubber sole here. And a lot of little tiny rocks get stuck in it, which kind of sucks. But because of this motif that's cut into here, it gives you extra grip because it kind of just like holds into the ground. It's really comfortable, super flat. The inside of the shoe is leather, like I mentioned. However, it is not going to stick to your feet and give you blisters. That is because it's wide. I don't know if I would necessarily say that there's more cushioning in this compared to the Orans or the Oasis. It's like a very hard bed. Similar to the Birkenstocks, it has a mold for your foot. And this is where I say you need to get your right size in these shoes. So I got a 36 again. I tried a 35 and a half. I also tried a 36 and a half. When I tried them on, because of the molding, there's like these lines that go in between your toes here. It doesn't sit right, and if you're not wearing them comfortably, it's gonna hit the most painful parts of your foot where you're just not gonna want to wear them. I can wear these day to night, like for days on end, and I never feel any sort of discomfort as long as you get the right size. So do not mess around with sizes when it comes to your Chypre sandals. Get the right one. The leather in this is a soft calfskin leather similar to the Orans and the Oasis. However, I have had friends who purchased these in the Epson and they said that that was the biggest regret of their life. Not only is Epson such a hard leather, but it sucks even more because it already cuts into your foot with other shoes that are slim like this, but these that are so wide and meant to give you comfort, it will cut into your foot because it's just like friction rubbing against your foot like non-stop. So because you're buying a comfortable shoe, you want to be able to wear it. You don't want to have a shoe that's constructed in a way that's gonna give you blisters and make you bleed. If you can avoid the Epsom ones, I would say that get the calfskin ones. They're so much more comfortable on your feet. This is also really thick band at the top here. Again, you're gonna get creases as you wear it, and because it is such a thick piece of leather, it will move with your foot and shape it over time as you wear them more. There is a Velcro strap on the top that you can adjust if you would like. Personally, I don't really want to be able to adjust it, or I don't need to really adjust them. They fit me perfectly. But if you find that these shoes are too wide, you can tighten it a little bit. And if you need more give, you can also loosen it up again. I think another reason why these are so comfortable is because the arch has a lot more support in here than the other shoes. It has a little bit of padding. It's not like cushiony or anything. It just comes up a little bit higher and gives more coverage into your arch, which is really great. The other reason why I like Hermes shoes too, besides the comfort design factor, is that the branding is extremely subtle, which is what you'll kind of see across the board with all Hermes products. It only says Hermes in here. It's embossed. And then on the inside, it says Hermes right under the heel here, which is going to be covered if you're wearing it. Overall, if you didn't know, you wouldn't know it's Hermes, so it's not like a beacon being like, hello, I have expensive shoes on me. Come rob me. It's comfortable, and I could say that it doesn't scream, look at me, brands similar to like Versace and D&G would. Do I think this is worth the price? I said it for the other two pairs of shoes. I think yes, when it comes to Hermes and all the shoes that I'm spending my money on, because they are so comfortable, I wear them all the damn time. 100% yes, you can go and get Birkenstocks, a similar color. It's going to be significantly cheaper, maybe like 10-15% of the price of this. However, I'm not a Birkenstocks gal. I wanted something that was a little bit more sleek, elevated, so this fit the bill for me. I'm not saying you need to go and buy these though. I'm just saying when it comes to designer shoes, some shoes are just like wretched and not worth the cost at all because they fall apart the minute you wear them. Some of them actually are comfortable and look cute and last you a really goddamn long time. This is the case. When it comes to my Hermes shoes, almost all of them I've worn the hell out of. And when it comes to my shoes, I want to be able to wear them comfortably or else I get mad if they're not comfortable. Unlike a handbag where I can just wear it. It doesn't need to be super comfortable. Shoes, they carry me places, so they have to make sense. Across the board, if I was to pick one to wear for the rest of my life and nix the rest of them, I would, it sounds really weird, but I think I would have to go with the Oasis ones. And hear me out. Number one, extremely comfortable. They have a higher arch because of the heel. Number two, you can wear up and down for any occasion. I've worn these with jeans and they cover the heel so it doesn't look like I'm wearing a heel. And then I can also wear this with a dress. If I was to wear the Oran sandals, I guess you could say I could wear this with a dress, but anything without a heel is instantly more casual than a shoe with a heel. This only really has like one purpose, which is casual every day, whereas the Oasis I can wear like regardless of what type of outfit I want to create. And then the Chypre sandals, these are the most comfortable out of all of them that I have because they have such a wide footbed, but they are extremely casual. I would never wear this to a formal function or event. It doesn't work because I don't have that aspect that I can utilize it for. This will probably be a little ranked below my Oasis. So I think in order of preference, I would go Oasis first, and then I would go Oran's because you can do casual or sleek if you want to, and then I would go Chypres because they're just super comfortable and really sleek looking. but they're, again, very casual. If you're going in terms of comfort, I would say Chypres, Oasis, and then Orans. And if you want to go pricing, I would say number 1, Orans, because they are the cheapest. I think next up, in terms of what you're going to get best, I think the Oasis are still a little bit cheaper, and then the Chypres are the most expensive. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. And if you guys have not already subscribed, make sure you do. That way you don't miss a single video whenever it pops up in your subscription box. I cannot say that word. Subscription box. I post brand new videos every Thursday at 7 p.m. EST. And if you're not sick of me yet, you can also follow along on my Instagram and TikTok, where I post almost every single day. You can get more content from me there. Hopefully you are not sick of me yet, because I would love to see your beautiful faces around again soon. Otherwise, I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video. Love you. Bye.